Hello, I'm T.A. McLaughlin. Welcome to episode 5 of Tayamni Transmissions. So, I know we've been talking about Batresh and about the main character. I hope we've been talking about her. We'll talk about her some more tonight. And some of the alien creatures that are here at Earth that Batresh has to deal with. And I thought I would read some portions of the first book to you, just so you get a better idea of who Batresh is, what her motivations are. Her mother decided, well, at least she thought it was her mother's idea. Later she will find out that maybe it wasn't her mother's idea, to raise her as human. And what she meant by that, or what is meant by that, is Batresh would never be told that she was Tayamni until she was 18 years old. But Namazu, her sister, the same age as Batresh, was told. She was also told she could not tell her sister. Namazu was a warrior. Batresh was a nurturer. Excuse me, I have to move this chair just a little bit. Here we go. And so her mother wanted Batresh. Batresh would also become matriarch of their house. Her mother, the matriarch of their house, when the book starts, does plans for Batresh to become matriarch. And she wants her to be more effective than she has been, than she herself had been. And she wanted, one way to do this was to make Batresh identify with humans. So she didn't tell her till she was 18 that she was not human. And this was traumatic for Batresh. She learned at the same time she would never marry and have children, as she had planned to do. And she really would not be a queen-like figure over the city where she lived, that she would instead go on missions to the future. So I'm going to read you a part of the story where we meet Batresh. So the matriarch is dying, and this is Batresh's mother. And we are at the palace at Sekhem. The palace is not like a traditional kind of palace when we think of palaces. It's more a large, very nice sort of structure made of mud brick and that kind of thing. Not a sophisticated or sci-fi structure at all. It's built of the materials that the Tayamni are teaching humans to build from. So we refer to the matriarch's death as her departure. On the day of the matriarch's departure, the palace, on elevated ground near the river, teemed with activity. Behind tapered walls, painted columns, and silent doors, blessed ones gathered. Nobles from distant missions, bejeweled and perfumed, scribes, cooks, even lowly farmers gathered to pay homage to the matriarch of Kemet. Cooks prepared funereal feasts, stewards brought amphorae of wine from seasons past, and all spoke of the matriarch's departure. Nebt, a palace musician, sat in the gardens examining calloused fingers. She'd been playing all day. At her feet sat a holy animal wearing a jeweled collar. Physical manifestations of Bastet, the goddess of sensuality. Humans would one day call these animals house cats. Bastet had been one of the 9, in whose shrines men and women sought out physical pleasure. Mao was the matriarch's favorite. She sat on her haunches, looking up at Nebt. Pentu, a laborer, sat down next to her. "She gives you a sacrifice," he said. Nebt pulled away as Mao dropped the corpse of a mouse at her feet. You will insult the goddess, Pentu teased, placing his rough hand on hers. Nebt swallowed hard and looked at the bejeweled feline. Thank you, Holy One, she nodded. Looking at Pentu, Nebt drew her brows together. Do not laugh, she hissed. Even now the matriarch walks among the reeds. She moved away from the grisly gift. Ignoring Nebt's caution, he laughed again. You were clearly not her favorite, he gestured, standing, knowing he must get back to the quarry. Otherwise she would have given you the head. Today we mourn, Nebt scolded. Mao turned her feline gaze toward the great hall. Lowering herself to the ground, so not to be seen, she snaked across the sand, freezing stock still with one paw lifted, her ears flicking back and forth. With the stealth of a thief, she made her way toward a potted bush where a bird fluttered hopelessly in thick branches. Its feathers had caught on a thorn. 2 men, covered in flour, walked from the kitchens carrying metal discs used to spread dough into circular forms. As they leaned towards each other, whispering, one man struck his toe against the door frame, dropping his discs onto the steps. The metal plates made a clang. 2 rolled into the garden. Mao froze. Lowering herself against the ground, she saw the enormous-looking discs rolling towards her. Digging her paws in sand, she turned quickly and ran in the opposite direction. Entering a doorway, she sprinted down a darkened hall between the legs of servants and nobles. Turning right, then left, she entered a wing that was normally closed off. She heard voices. Daintily, she made her way toward them. The aroma of incense stopped her. Peeking out from behind a column, her eyes reflecting lamplight like brass mirrors, she saw a woman standing at a bedpost. In her early 20s, the woman wore a sheer toga and braided wig. She stood, cold, sullen, aloof. She was the Princess Batresh, daughter of the matriarch, who lay before her on the ancient mattress stuffed with straw. Lamplight cast trembling shadows against thin drapes. The air was heavy with perfume. Hathors, Tayamni life-givers, wearing golden masks, stood around the bed, leaning over the old woman. The matriarch lay still, wheezing. Wisps of white hair framed an aged face. Her arthritic hands curved and knotted, grasped linen blankets covering her thin body. She had aged rapidly. The Hathor stood in silence, transmitting thoughts. Gasping, the old woman called out, "Batresh!" The Hathors acted quickly. Technology in the jewelry they wore, medallions hanging from their foreheads, activated, casting beams of light towards the aged queen. Closing their eyes, they whispered with rhythmic spells, their bodies swaying. Acolytes shook sistrums, accompanying their chants with soft jingling. The matriarch lay there, muscles clenched, struggling to breathe, the rasp of her own breath deafening. Staring through dim light at mats covering the ceiling, her mind raced from memory to memory. Scenes and people she had not recalled for millennia. Her own mother's face materialized. Whether it was a vision or whether her mother was here in the room with her didn't matter. So there we have the first time Batresh is mentioned. She's cold and sullen. It's because she has discovered something. Her matriarch has told her a few years ago now, actually, about that she was not human. But Batresh is holding on to that anger, to the lies she was told her whole life. She had been lied to about who she was. She doesn't get over it for a very long time. Okay. Let's see. So let's talk about Batresh for a little while. She's been raised in a position of um, authority and privilege. She didn't know why, but we do. We know that the Tayamni are aliens, that they come from a much more technologically advanced planet than Earth was, especially at this time. And she doesn't realize that it is all that technology that allows her family to have so much, to have all this food, that the humans have to work harder for. She doesn't understand that it's Tayamni technology that gives her beautiful clothes with incredibly smooth, thin fabrics. She thinks that it's just her position of privilege that gives her all of this. Her mother also deals with the humans in Sekhem, in this town, this village, really, like a queen. She tells them what to do. She gives them advice. Sometimes she can be sharp. And Batresh, listening to her mother talk to these humans, and then her mother telling her one day she will be doing the same, makes Batresh believe that, she has been raised in a position of privilege, and that she will always have this position of privilege, that she's somehow superior to the humans in the village and to the humans who live outside the village, in the desert or along the banks of the Nile. So she is, when she does find out that she's not human, it is a huge shock to her. And I forgot to find the place where that is, or I would read it to you right now. Maybe I will find it. But there are some other sections of the book I would like to read to you. Let's see. Okay. So I don't know if I have told you much about Batresh and the human that she becomes very close to at Tupelo, Mississippi. Her first mission is at Tupelo. Her mother has died. Her ka, and I'm pretty sure we've talked about this, her mother's ka, which is basically her. It's, as Arthur C. Clarke said, that humans would happen to humans one day, or how we would probably exist one day. Her ka is a collection of radiated photons that is, with Tayamni technology, applied to the human brain. So you have two things. You have the human brain and you have this ka. The ka contains so much information that it is basically who you are. But then you have the brain, or the ego, maybe, to help you do other things, figure other things out. So the matriarch's ka, the collection of radiated photons, is sent to the future, 6,000 years into the future, in fact, to a time not far from the time when humans will be undergoing a test, a terrible test that could result in their being enslaved by mercenary aliens, or free and given technology and understanding who they are, why they are the way they are, why we are the way we are, how Homo sapiens, us, were created. So, so the matriarch's ka goes to the future and is affixed to the brain of a small boy, a five-year-old. Actually, no, it's attached to the brain of a baby who was born in 1957. By the time Batresh goes on her first mission, sorry, I'm looking at this little kitten We rescued a couple of kittens, and they have been going crazy in this house, running all over the place. Literally curtain climbers. But they're so cute. They're so adorable. Anyway, there's a little kitten over here. Brownie, I think we're calling her. The matriarch's ka, and I know we've probably talked about all this before. The matriarch's ka goes into the baby boy's brain, and the matriarch then is living as Denny, but she doesn't remember. She doesn't remember who she was, her previous life. She only she grows up as Denny, as this little boy. This little kitten is trying to gnaw at the electrical wires. Anyway, so Batresh she not only finds out that she's not human, that she's not going to have the life that she planned to have, to get married and have children, and to become matriarch or queen or whatever it was that her mother did at Sekhem. But she also had to go on these missions and help these people that she found out she was a member of, the Tayamni. She had no idea. And she's angry. She's very angry. And at first she did not want to go. You see, you hear the kittens in there. Oh, my husband is back. I'm making a recording, honey. And so Batresh is very angry. And she's angry for the first 3 books. It is only in the 4th book that she begins to understand why the missions that she's been sent on are important. So I will now read another section for you. This is a section where, after she meets a human and he falls in love with her, she likes him, she's attracted to him. And the Tayamni are, they're not monogamous. They are a matriarchal society. So the women basically have multiple husbands. They call them, there's a primary, secondary, and tertiary. Normally they don't go beyond tertiary. But her primary is Amun. But then she doesn't have a secondary. But she meets Jerry, the human. He falls in love with her. And she is experimenting. She's like, okay, I have not made love with a human man before. I wonder what it would be like. So she, at some point in this book, she will make love to him. He will fall in love deeper. And she is surprised that he has become so attached. But anyway, we haven't gotten to that point yet in this section I'm going to read for you. This is called Proof. Driving to Batresh's house, Jerry passed over roads he'd traveled his whole life. He thought of her face, her hair, her pale eyes and dark complexion, her coloring and features, potential evidence of a mixed-race heritage he found irresistible and strikingly forbidden. He remembered how he felt with his lips pressed against her neck, pressing her against the wall. He remembered how she relaxed into his arms. Gravel made pinging noises against the undercarriage of the car. She was certainly the most beautiful woman he had ever fallen for, but he wondered how she felt about him. She was reluctant to commit. Other women were ready to get married after one kiss, but Batresh held him at a distance. She was strange. Her name, her unusual physical strength, gaps in common knowledge, and now secrets. Maybe he would ask her point blank to tell him everything. Would that make her distrust him? Hitting an unexpected bump in the road, he bit his lip as he turned around a curve. Slowing, he saw a house cat gently stepping out of a ditch and realized he had arrived at Batresh's house. Pulling into the driveway, he saw her sister's car. The sun was low in the sky. It would soon be night. The front porch light illuminated surrounding trees and cast a warm yellow light into the yard. Fireflies blinked on and off, flying through early evening like floating Christmas lights. 2 chairs were placed on the porch. He parked behind Batresh's car, and as he walked towards the house, he heard women laughing. He hesitated in front of the screen door, enjoying the musical sounds of female voices. Looking through the door, he yelled, "Anybody home?" Batresh walked to the door. "Come in, Jerry." She wore a thin cotton dress. It clung to her body. The light of the kitchen light, shining through thin material, revealed the shape of her thighs as she approached. Jerry inhaled her perfume as she opened the screen door. She took his arm. Without thinking, he slid his left hand around her waist, drawing her to him. She smiled as he moved his face close to hers. He kissed her gently and released her. "Come on in, Mr. Mean," she said as she took his hand and pulled him into the dining room. Jerry was surprised to see 2 other women with them. Batresh continued, "This is the man I was telling you about." She looked at Jerry and smiled. "Jerry, this is Hilimaz and Erish." He looked at the women seating at the dining room table. They had glasses of iced tea in front of them. "Evening," he offered, nodding at them. "Are you Batresh's sisters too?" The young woman with black hair and dark skin smiled broadly. "Oh no," she said in British accented English. "We are working with Namazu." Batresh added, "He doesn't know everything." She looked at Jerry. "I'm telling him bit by bit." "What kind of work y'all do?" he asked, looking at Hilimaz. She responded, "I'm a biologist." Jerry was surprised, expecting to hear something like she was a hairdresser or that she worked in a store. He had never met a biologist, especially a female one. Trying to hide his surprise, he turned back to Batresh. "Are you ready to go?" Batresh asked. "Sure enough," he responded. "See y'all later on. Have fun." He looked at them and nodded. He held Batresh's hand as they walked to his car. He opened the door for her. "It sure is good to see you, honey," he said, looking at her affectionately. He changed gears and looked back at the road. "I saw a cat when I pulled in. Is it yours?" "There is a black and white one around," she responded. Namazu saw her with a mouse the other day." She paused. "Savage little things. They like to play with their food," he added, cocking his head to the side. "Sometimes," he paused, "sometimes I feel like a mouse." She looked at him, raising her eyebrows. He continued, "And you're the cat." He gave her a crooked smile. He reached over and took her hand again. "We're going to have some good barbecue tonight." She stared blankly into the lighted radio panel on the dashboard for a full minute. Then, looking up at his face, she asked, "Do you feel I am toying with you?" He sighed, trying to focus on the gravel road ahead. "Sometimes," he responded. "In what way?" she asked. "I don't know much about you," he said. "And," he sighed again, "and I think you like me, but I don't know. You haven't said much." She sat straighter in the seat and looked ahead. "I like you, Jerry. Otherwise I wouldn't be spending time with you." She was firm. As he turned onto the old Sapatilla Road, she looked to their left and saw Oak Hill Methodist Church with a spattering of graves in the distance. "I think I like you in a different way than how you like me," he added, his voice wavering. She watched him as he spoke, seeing in the gathering darkness an abandoned house just off the road. His face was lit in profile against it. She responded, "I could grow to care about you in the way you would like." She looked ahead again. "But it might take time. You must give me time. Also, there are things about me that may cause you to feel differently. I come from a very different place." It looks like we are over the time that I normally allot for these. We're at 24 minutes. Please comment and subscribe. Ask me questions, if you like, about the Tayamni series, or about me, about my life. And also, if you have questions about the characters in the love of the Tayamni and what their motivations are, why they do what they do. Anyway, there's a little kitten coming up here that you may see. Let's see, I'll just show you. This is Brownie. My daughter named her because of the brown spot on her head right here. She's a tiny little thing. Very sharp little claws. Anyway, join me for the next one, and we'll pick up where we left off, with Batresh getting ready to reveal who she is to Jerry. Okay? Thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.